Well, good morning. It's Monday morning. I'm up bright and early, and I hope that you've all had a really good weekend, even though I'm in Sydney and we're still in lockdown until the 28th of August. So it's a bit frustrating not being able to see family and friends and do all the things that we really want to do, but we need to stay safe and stay well. And, until the majority of people get vaccinated, we're going to be in lockdown, aren't we? So I've had my double shot with my vaccinations. So fingers crossed everybody's feeling okay and that you're staying safe and well. So today, this is my regular Monday LinkedIn Live to give you a little bit of inspiration and a shot of energy to kickstart your morning. So I hope that you'll find it very helpful. And I'm just refreshing just to see if anybody's, yes, so we've got a few people who are watching already. So good morning, and feel free to pop in the chat box who you are and where you're watching from. Oh, I see that I have Rebecca Bishop and Gay. Hello, Andy and Jeff. Oh, Jeff, you're here. How lovely to have you join us, because it's Sunday evening for you as well. So, okay, what I'm doing today is I'm going to be sharing some top job interview tips, and I thought today I will be talking about the fatal flaws of interviewees, and also in the coming weeks I'll be covering how to prepare your intro statement, common questions to interviews, behavioural questions, questions that you can ask in interviews as well, and also what to do to follow up when you are going for an interview and you're wondering what to do afterwards. So I'm going to give you lots and lots of advice on job interviews if you happen to be a job seeker, or if you just want to know as well. And if you happen to be a recruiter or an HR professional, please feel free to provide your suggestions as well in the comments, because that would be really lovely. And hello, Amber from Christchurch. Thinking of you. You're in lockdown. We're in lockdown as well. I hope yours isn't going to be as long as ours has been. And Subro, hello, nice to see you again, and thanks for joining me again. So what I'm going to do is go straight into it, and I will be sharing my screen. Let me share my screen and then show you this. Here we go. And here's my slide presentation, and I'll just begin. And so welcome to my career tips, and this is just a 15-minute shot of inspiration for you. Okay, so today it's going to be the 4 fatal flaws of interviewees. So let's get straight into it. Now, there are 4 common mistakes of interviewees, and this is excuse me, and this is through a study done by Korn Ferry quite a number of years ago, where they interviewed hundreds of recruiters who obviously interview for a living to find out what sort of mistakes they would come across the most when interviewing their candidates. And they found that it was, these are the statistics that you can see here. So one of the most common mistakes, and 43% of them found that this was a problem, was talking too much with their candidates. And why do you talk too much? You tend to get a little bit nervous. You're not sure what they actually asked you in a question. And so you start talking about something and you may go completely off the point, but you keep talking and digging yourself into a hole. I don't know if any of you have experienced this. If you have, then please do share it in the comments as well. So talking too much in interviews, of course you want to sell yourself, but where do you stop? So please be aware of what you're saying. The key here is to listen to the question and make sure that you fully understand the question so that you can respond succinctly and concisely. Okay. Also, if you're feeling nervous before the interview, go and have some exercise so that you get it all out of your system and you relax your muscles. Have a good shower, get ready for the interview before you begin, whether it's a face-to-face interview or whether it's via video conferencing. Okay. Now, the next common mistake was a lack of preparation. Some people go into interviews without preparing thoroughly enough about the company, about the industry, about the job function, and also not preparing enough about themselves and the good examples that they can provide to demonstrate that they've got the ability to get the job done. Okay, so make sure that you do prepare. And then the next common mistake is overselling. People with an overinflated sense of self-importance, and usually, you know what? It's not because people have got a huge ego. It's usually because they do feel nervous. They might be in between jobs. Perhaps they've gone through a redundancy and it's affected their self-confidence. And in order to come across a little more confidently, they oversell and it comes across as an overinflated ego. So do be careful. I haven't come across this very much at all because most people that I work with are really humble and lovely. I've only come across it twice, and they were actually with very, very senior managers who really felt that they weren't the same powerful person that they were before because they didn't have their job title due to a redundancy. And so you see how you can get a little bit of a wobble. So do be careful that when you're selling, of course you want to put yourself in the best light, but not to oversell. And there is a fine line. So having a bit of help there usually is very beneficial. And finally, a common mistake is bad hygiene, people who just don't care, or inappropriate attire, not dressing for the role that you are aspiring to. So it's very important to make sure that you do some research, understand what would be appropriate attire for the type of role that you're going for, and then dress accordingly. So these are the common mistakes: talking too much, lack of preparation, overinflated ego or overselling, and then not dressing to impress in the right environment. Okay, so the most fatal mistake of all of these is this one, and it's a lack of preparation. So please, when you're called in for an interview, do make sure that you do your research the industry, research the company, do some research into who the hiring manager is, what the team environment may be, the corporate culture. There are so many things that you can find out right here on LinkedIn as well. Do a company search, and LinkedIn provides so much fantastic information. It's like a one-stop shop for job seekers, basically. You can find your key hiring manager, you can find key personnel within the company that you will be interviewing at. You can find out about the company trends as well. Some of the information that you can get from LinkedIn, you do need to have a premium profile, but even with a free profile, you can do plenty of research simply by using the search fields. So make sure that you prepare your examples of what will demonstrate that you have got the potential to excel in the role. Okay, so here's how to prepare. Do your research, all right? These are the things that you need to make sure that you find out as much as you can about the industry trends of that particular industry you're targeting, the company that you're going for, what's required within that job function, who's the hiring manager, what's he or she like, and what is the team culture. These are some of the basic things that you need to find out, okay? And also what you need to do is to prepare your stories. You need stories and accomplishment, tangible accomplishments and also intangible accomplishments. Think about, what do you bring to the table, what you offer, and what is it that they need? Because this is what you need to position yourself as, the solution to their problems. They need to hire someone because there is something that needs to be done. If you are the best person for the job, you will get the job. So if you position yourself as someone who can solve the problems that they're experiencing, you're going to do so much better. And in order to have the right accomplishments for that, tell your story. The process of creating your accomplishment stories is to state what the problem may be and the challenges around it. What are the actions or action that you took as an individual or that you led your team to take? And what was the final positive result? We need to have a result, and that result could be dollar figures, a dollar improvement, a time improvement. Maybe you grew something or reduced something, increased something, identified that there was a problem and you mitigated risk. Maybe you streamlined a process. Maybe you helped to improve the team environment. Think of the things that you did that really made a difference. Sometimes they're going to be big things. Maybe you increased sales by 50% over a 2-month period. Or it could be that you identified that there was a problem, you created a spreadsheet, and as a result, it was a lot easier to identify problems or identify potential problems before they would occur. So it could be a small accomplishment or it could be a large accomplishment, but each accomplishment will demonstrate multiple skill sets. So in behavioral interviews, if they ask you a question about, tell me about a time when you've experienced conflict in the workplace, or how have you been able to grow your team despite limited resources, questions like that. If you've been in a similar situation, maybe it's not exactly that situation, but something similar, you can tell the story and people will be able to see that you have got the potential to be able to fit in that particular role. So problem, action, result. This is actually an accomplishment identification exercise that I have in my communications pack, career communications pack. I've got lots of templates that could help. If you're interested, just let me know. Okay. And so you also need to prepare the logistics and the technology. Now, if you're going to be on a video conference, a Zoom call, or Microsoft Teams or Blue Jeans, make sure your tech works. If you're going to be physically going to an environment, I hope you like this picture of the dog, I thought that was quite cute, then please do a test run so that you know what the traffic's going to be like. How long does the bus take? How long does the train take? So that you give yourself enough time to get there about 10 to 15 minutes early so that you're not flustered. Make sure you know how to get there, where to park, all of those things. And of course, on the technology side, make sure that everything works. You've got the lighting right, the audio right, just so that you can have a very smooth experience with the interview. Okay, and finally, your documents. Just in case, if you're going physically in for an interview, you've already sent them the resume, they've got it. But you know what? Sometimes you go in for an interview and they might say, oh, we've just decided to have, Joe Smith join us and sit in. He or she will be one of your colleagues. And then you didn't expect that. But if you've got extra copies of your resume printed out, you could bring it out and say, I'm not sure if you've had a chance to have a look at my resume, but here it is. And it shows that you are well prepared. Have extra copies of your certificates and anything else that you think might be useful. Even if they don't ask for it, that's fine. You've got it and you were prepared just in case. Just in case. I like to have things covered for any eventuality, and it shows that you've been thinking ahead as well. And then what to wear. Now, we mentioned about dressing appropriately. I really like this picture of Austin Powers. It was kind of fun. I mean, it might be the right environment. I mean, the thing is that you could be going for a job, I don't know, where it's in fashion and it's really funky fashion. Who knows? It doesn't always have to be, like I'm dressed here, professional services. So do your research. Make sure, do you need to wear formal corporate attire? Is it corporate casual? Is it super casual? Or is it jeans and t-shirts that would be fine? Okay, just do your research and make sure that you look like you are someone who could do that role. Don't dress for your current role, dress for the role that you aspire to. And finally, this is positive body language. Please, eye contact, a nice warm smile, a little bit of nodding and acknowledgement when someone talks to you is really lovely. Having an open stance as well is fantastic. And one day when we're allowed to shake hands again, after COVID and life goes back to whatever may be normal, shake hands. Remember, a nice firm handshake is always a beautiful way to start off an introduction. Okay. And so finally, that's it. Just in case, if you're interested, I've got my career communications pack. It has templates for crafting your accomplishment statements, your resume, fantastic resume template in there, your cover letter, verbal pitch, marketing plan, or how to address selection criteria. There's a very long section there. If you wanted it, I'm providing, because you've joined this LinkedIn Live session, 50% off. So just use the coupon code LinkedIn Special and you can get it. Okay. Oh, just in case I forgot to let you see that for a little bit longer, the URL to go to it is bit.ly/career comms. So you'll be able to find it there if you want it. If you don't, that's fine too. It's just there for you should you need. Okay. And every Monday I go to LinkedIn Live to give you some interview tips. And so here I am back to normal, and let's see if there are a few questions that I can respond now. So let me have a look. So Subro, a LinkedIn user from Melbourne. Hello, whoever the LinkedIn user is from Melbourne. And Sue Elson says, I was just not answering the question, rushing in to answer a behavioral question without thinking the most relevant example. Hang on, let me just put this up here so that you can see. Thank you, Sue. And being attached to the outcome rather than making sure it is a values fit for you both. Exactly right. It is so important to share common values. And when you're in the interview situation, what's important is to ask the right questions so that you can determine if there is a good fit for you culturally as well. And when it comes to answering behavioral questions, you have to have that accomplishment story. Tell them the journey. What situations have you been in? What were the challenges around those situations? And then the specific actions that you took, and then the result. And a positive result is always a very good thing. So thank you. That was a lovely comment there. Good suggestion as well, Sue Elson. Love it. Okay, let me have a look. Claire is from Canberra. Actually, I think I'm just going to show. So Claire, thank you so much for joining us today. I'll have a look. Jeff Young, funny. Yeah, baby, he says. And here we go. Gigs to someone who uses technology to attract aligned gigs. Yes, absolutely. And as Jeff says, the gig economy is here to say, yes, I think it is. You know what? People working in freelance roles now are getting so much more work. You can talk to wonderful people like Rachel Smith, who helps people with their freelance jobs. Absolutely fantastic. And there is so much that you can do when it comes to finding a remote job. Even on LinkedIn, did you know when you look under location, you can choose remote and you can apply for remote jobs anywhere in the world. Now, this is just my very quick 15-minute tips. Let me just, I'll just pop up the other people who've been here. So there was Claire who is here, and Subro was here. Thank you so much. And Amber from Christchurch, and Andy. And so thank you so much, everybody, for joining me today. If you do have any questions, please, and you're watching the replay, just put #replay in the comments and I will respond a little bit later on. I've got a coaching call in half an hour, so I've got to prepare for that. But it has been lovely. And Sue, oh yes, you've been a gigster since 1994. Isn't it wonderful? And you know what, Sue? I bet you get a lot of work from LinkedIn because you can market yourself so well and build your brand on LinkedIn too. That will be one of the topics that I'll talk about on my LinkedIn Lives. And I just want to show you something else here. Now, I know that it has been quite challenging for many people because of COVID and being in lockdowns, especially in Sydney and Christchurch. So if you're feeling a little bit of anxiety and a bit of a wobble, I'm offering for free my online program, How to Build Confidence. So if you just go to www, you need to put www, the Careers Academy online /confidence, you'll be able to get that online program for free during COVID. And it will certainly help you to identify what may trigger you, identify the behavioral, physical and mental, emotional signs and symptoms of stress, and how to overcome them. And so that's my gift for you during COVID. It's free, so you can just go there and get it as well. And if you ever have any questions, just drop me a DM. I'd love to hear from you, and I will see you again next Monday morning at 9:15, bright and early. I see that there are 20 of you still watching at the moment, so thank you so much, guys. It really is lovely to see you. And should you ever want to find out anything else, there's janejacksoncoach.com. That's my website where I've got heaps of free stuff for you that you can download if you need a little bit of support in your career. Okay, so lovely to see you all. Thank you so much. And I'm going to say goodbye, get on with the day. And I hope this has been a little bit of inspiration for you. Have a great week. Bye now.